Welcome to Breakthrough. As always, I'm excited to come to you live every Sunday right here on Facebook and YouTube. This is Breakthrough, where I bring you tips, tools, and insights for life. And today, I don't have my breakthrough background. So, but you do know this is Breakthrough, where I bring you tips, tools, and insights for life. I'm your host, Sharon Joseph, and as I mentioned, it's always an honor to come before you live. So, I'm the managing director of the consulting firm SAJ Consulting Services. I'm also a professional speaker, executive coach, trainer, and business consultant. I am also the history making president of the Laurel Highlands Toastmasters Club. And I'm always excited to talk about that because I believe it's one of my treasured accomplishments, I guess I'll say. Okay, so today I continue to talk about Black History Month and in particular the color of our mind and not necessarily the color of our skin. We're talking about the color and power of our mind. So as we go through, think about it. What color do you see your mind as? Is it black because the pigmentation of your skin is black or brown? Or how do you see yourself? How do you see the color of your mind? I come to you live every week right from this small city in Pennsylvania called Connellsville, about 50 miles south of Pittsburgh. And I wanted to just recap a little bit about what I've been talking about, what I spoke about over the last 2 weeks. And that is that one, 2 out of 3 people do not do something if they think it's too hard. 2 out of 3 people. Are you one of the two, or are you the one that does the hard thing to accomplish a purpose? And this has nothing to do with the color of one's skin, by the way, but the color of our mind, because we decide what to do not based on the color of our skin, but on the color of our mind. How do we see ourselves? What are we thinking about? How do we how do we see the outcome of what we want to accomplish? Fact is, if you believe you can't, you can't. And if you believe you can, you can. If this is your first time joining me, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please share your likes, comments, hearts, and so on with me and tell me your story. What's your breakthrough story? What thing you were challenged with that now you're able to work through, and how did you do it? That's so important. How did you do it? If you'd like to share that story with me, you can email me at breakthroughtti@gmail.com. That's breakthroughtti@gmail.com, or subscribe to my YouTube channel, Sharon A. Joseph DTM, to learn more about me and keep in touch. Okay, I mentioned that I am a business coach and consultant and life and career coach. I share that because my passion is helping you live a life that's purposeful, that's walking in line with what you were created to do. If you need help in doing that, you can email me at sajconsultingservices at gmail.com. Check out my website, sharonajoseph.com, or sajconsultingservices.com to learn more. And you can also call me at 440-497-0172 if you'd like to talk and figure out how I can help you better. Okay, we are talking about the color and power of our mind. We are all history makers, and this month, as we celebrate Black History Month, I wanted to share more about the color of our minds versus the color of our skin. We may blame our inability to do great things based on the color of our skins. We may blame our inability to create Black history on the color of our skin. But can I tell you something? Every great Black history maker had to deal with the challenges of their time. My challenge to you today is to figure out, what history can you make tomorrow? And how do you begin making history tomorrow? By starting today. So, what can you do today to create history for tomorrow. I am challenging, and that's a challenge for you. So think about it. What are you currently doing, or what can you currently do to do that? I shared a few history makers with you last week, I believe. One of them, he's so popular, and on Monday we celebrate. Um, yeah, we celebrate. What Monday we celebrate a history that the history and birthday of MLK. But we think about Martin Luther King Jr. We think about Ralph Bunks, the first man. They were both the first black men to receive Nobel Peace Prize. We think about the first successful open heart surgery that was performed in 1893 by Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. We think about Henrietta Lacks, whose cancer cells is helping to create treatments and deal with the issue of cancer. We have so many people who have made history, some willingly and unwillingly, but the fact is they made history. Like John Rock, the first African American Supreme Court lawyer in and that took place in 1865. What were the challenges that they had to deal with in those times in order to accomplish history, celebrate them as history makes today? Think of Oprah Winfrey living purposefully, accomplishing her purpose, a living history maker. We all could be living history makers in our own sphere of influence. Sometimes we believe that we are not valuable enough to make history or to make a difference, but can I tell you, you are valuable. Your life do matter. So, what are you going to do to ensure that you make a significant impact on this world despite the sociological and economic injustices and challenges we face? What can you do now, today? My suggestion is to make a decision because every single important thing in life first begins with a decision. Make a decision to be relevant. Make a decision to learn and grow and be excellent. People will find you no matter where you are and no matter what the color of your skin is if you are excellent. People are dying for excellence. You could be a history maker by being excellent in whatever area you're gifted in, and people will find you. What does the Bible say? Your gifts make room for you. They will make room for you. They don't just make room for you, they will make room for you once they are refined and become excellent. Because no one wants a seed that's buried in the ground and not revealing the fruits. Until the tree bears fruit, we don't eat the fruit, right? And if the fruit is green, we wouldn't eat it either. So we got to make it ripe. We got to allow ourselves to grow and become excellent before others can take advantage of the gifts or the seeds or the fruits that we have inside of us. I encourage you to see yourself where you want to be. See yourself where you want to be and not where you are. That's what I had to do. And I'll share a little more about that story with you. We cannot allow the our race, and I say race very loosely because there's only one race, the human race. We cannot allow the color of our skin to define who we are, to define our future and our destiny. Because you're more than that. How can we be history makers in the making? And the other question is, what does our mind have to do with it? Well, stick with me. I'll share with you. If you can, if we, not just you, but we can resist the herd mentality of doing what everyone else is doing, we can become history makers. Again, if you and I can resist the herd mentality, we can become history makers and be successful beyond our wildest dream, no matter the color of our skin. No matter the color of our skin. Why? Because as it relates to history making and doing great things, the one thing that truly matter is the one thing we have in common, and that is our mind. We all have a mind, and we all start at the same base with 24 hours every day. Think about that. Someone may be rich and someone may be poor. Someone may be black and someone may be white. But the two things we have in common is one, the color of our mind or our mind, and 24 hours. That's the base. So, based on that, you can do anything. So, I'm suggesting and challenging you to transform your mind, and you will be transformed. And how do you go about transforming your mind? By deliberately learning, growing, researching, developing, honing the gifts and talents that are in you. I encourage you to think of ways in which you can do the hard thing now to benefit and enjoy the easy thing later. And in the process, you may just be creating history by doing the hard thing now. I encourage you to refine and develop your skills and focus on what you're most passionate about. Despite my history of being or not being able to speak clearly, I am here with you because I'm passionate about helping you and helping people grow. Today, I'll be sharing some other simple ideas with you, such as, and I've already begun, your mind is your most valuable asset, and we all have one. That investing in yourself is a choice, and investing in you is your greatest investment. That living by principles such as character, integrity, and an amazing attitude, that's what will get you to great places and keep you there. To understand that we all have gifts and talents within us, and that our passion and enthusiasm acts as the fire that lights up the great gifts and talents within us. Our ability to be excellent, to learn and grow, our ability to understand that our excellence and greatness and accomplishments in life, they come based on our attitude and not based on our aptitude. So, and that's why you may find someone who has many degrees or even a PhD, doctorate, and a master's degree, and so on, and not accomplishing or achieving a lot. And it's because they may be well qualified and certified, but they have a bad attitude, and no one wants them to be working with them with a bad attitude. So remember that your attitude accounts for 85% of your success, and only 15% of your success is dependent on your aptitude. You are who you are, not because of who you are, but because of whose you are. You came from greatness. It doesn't matter what family you came through to get here on earth, but you came from greatness. A great God created you, and then he allowed you to come through your parents. So don't just hold on to the family you came out of as the destiny that you were intended to become. No, I know in some countries they have this caste system, like in India and many other countries, where if you were born in a poor family, you will always be poor, or always, yeah, be looked down upon. Thankfully, we live in America that allows us to become anyone, anything we want to become. So remember that we all have this ability, right, to become who we were created to be, and we'll go into that a little more later on or in the next program. The difference between nature and nurture, but it's worth knowing that our Creator is every color. Our Creator is no color. Fact is, we ought not to define ourselves based on the pigmentation of our skin. Everything I'm talking about is what we all can do, no matter where we came from or, again, the color of our skin. So remember that. I am not ignorant of the obvious things like the systems of the world and that the fact that there are injustices. I just know whose I am and whose we are. And because of knowing that, it allows me to understand my identity and walk purposefully in it. Our Creator is more important than the systems of this world. Our Creator is more important than the systems of this world. It's more important where we came from. It's more important than the opinions of others towards us. I move forward boldly in my life with faith, knowing that anything is possible. Anything is possible. I wish you can come to that same knowledge that anything is possible. I read in Ephesians 3:20 where it says, "Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask out of our mouth or think." That's critical because that tells me that asking and thinking is given the same value. So think about it. What are you asking for? What are you thinking about? Because whether you ask or think, the thing you're thinking about could come to pass. Because as you think, so you are. Our ability, again, to impact this world has nothing to do with the color of our skin. So as we celebrate Black History Month this month, remember that your impact to this world is more than the color of your skin. Our ability to impact our world and create great history has to do only with the color of our mind. Our limitations come from our own fears and the fears that others have ascribed upon or we have accepted from others, or our insecurity of our inability to think and use our mind. And how can you change that? By investing in yourself, by learning, growing, and becoming excellent. If you're now joining me, this is Breakthrough, where I share tips, tools, and insights for life. Breakthrough is basically helping you live and lead with passion for your purpose and knowing and understanding that we were created with purpose to impact, no matter the color or pigmentation of our skin. So remember that as we move forward. Based on surveys from CNBC and LinkedIn, I shared some of this with you the last time, that it shows that women account for only 17% of senior leaders on Wall Street and 9% of senior executives. So, and again, I have nothing against men. I love men. And I have nothing against women. I'm a woman. But my point is, what makes the difference? Why is there such a disparity in leadership between men and women? If you're a black person, you can say, well, there's a disparity between black and white. But guess what? That those figures are talking about Caucasian male and Caucasian women. So again, it has nothing to do with the color of one's skin. We, as individuals, as we move forward and refine ourselves and become excellent, it wouldn't matter the color of our skin once we become excellent. So Wall Street may have those stats, and it's very true. I mean, I was one of them, one of the managers on Wall Street, so I know it's true. There are very few of us, and but more than being very few of us, there are very few women. But we can change that. We can begin to make history right now. Okay, I shared with you also that a friend of mine asked me while working on Wall Street about what makes me different from every other black person he knows. And I must tell you, he was saying it very innocently because I don't think he meant it to be a racist statement. When I responded, I surprised myself, but it was a natural response. I am not who I am because of who I am, but because of whose I am. So I know who I am because I know whose I am. I am a child of the Most High God, created for greatness, in His image, in His likeness. And because I'm in His image and in His likeness, and He is the great God, I know I can do all things and do all things well. What do you say about yourself? Who do you belong to? Understanding your identity is so, so very critical to you moving forward and doing great things. I mention often that my passion is to help you understand the great power that is working within you. The great power of the Almighty God, creator of all, is working within you. And I'm encouraging you and hoping to propel you into your future, your history making future, no matter the pigmentation of your skin. I'm passionate about helping people walk fully in their purpose. So don't forget that as we move forward. I'm confident about who I am again because of whose I am. Where does your confidence come from? Our self worth is inextricably tied to our identity. Do you identify as just a black person, as a minority, or as an uneducated person? Do you identify as too fat, too thin? I'm just a nobody. You hear that so often. Then that's how you are telling people, that's how you will be treated. Exactly what you tell yourself is how others will treat you. So be mindful of that. We all came into this world as winners and we don't believe it sometimes, but fact is you are here as an individual because you won out about 599,999,998 sperms. Think about it. Of all the sperms that was going towards your mother's egg, you won. So you came into this world a winner already. We are formed, it's been said that we are formed based on two factors: nature and nurture. Nature relates to what or how we think based on our pre wired influences, like our genetics or family inheritance and other biological factors. And nurture talks about or relates to the influence of external factors after conception, or the product of or yeah the product of our environment, or the environment that you've been exposed to, your life experiences, your learning, and so on. Whether it's nature or nurture, I truly believe that our mind can transform us, not despite our nature or nurture. What I've personally found is that the one thing that stands between who we are and who we can become lie in the power of our mind. I'll say it again because I think it's just so important. The one thing that stands between who we are and who we could become lies in the power of our mind, our brain. The interaction between what I inherited versus my environment, who you and I eventually become, and our identity, it lies in our mind. And the color of our mind is the same as everyone else, but the power of our mind can be different. We all have power. We all have power in our mind, right? How we use our mind determines the level of power we hold. It determines how we see ourselves. For example, our identity or the way we see ourselves in large part is based or determined, well, it determines our value. The way we see ourselves determines our value. It determines our self worth. It determines our success and failure in life and in our destiny. So remember that. Okay, I'll be wrapping up shortly, but I wanted to share a couple more things with you before I go. The way we see ourselves in our mind's eye, and if you find me repeating a few things, it's because it's just so critically important. The way we see ourselves in our mind's eyes and our assessment of our self worth, again, that starts in our mind, and what we have accepted from our society and other people determines where we end up, including what we believe from what our family has said to us, also determines our value, how we see ourselves, and where we end up. The way others value us also is based on how we see ourselves or how we teach them to teach us, to not to teach us, how we teach them to treat us. It seems simple but so important. What does that mean? It means that if someone disrespects you and you accept it and continue to accept it, if someone break boundaries and you allow them to continue breaking those boundaries, then you're telling them it's okay, and that you're okay with them breaking boundaries, with them disrespecting you on an ongoing basis. And before you know it, you have learned to accept disrespect and broken boundaries, and they have learned to disrespect you because you have accepted it. So be mindful of that as you move forward into becoming the great person that you were created to be. You may be well aware of my story, and I share with you the fact that I was bullied as a child into adulthood. In particular, I remember when I was 11 years old, and I was being bullied and didn't quite know what to do. I was stuttering so badly, and I couldn't say my name is Sharon. I couldn't ask questions because S's and W's were the most difficult letters to enunciate. At that time, me accomplishing anything had nothing to do with the color of my skin. It had everything to do with how I saw myself and the color of my mind. The color of my mind was no different than the other child who was speaking well. What I didn't realize was the power of my mind at 11 years old. What I didn't realize was that my inability to do something, meaning speak well, had nothing to do with the color of my skin, but it had a lot to do with who I was. So my question is, was that inability to speak clearly, was it inherited, or was it something I was born with as a result of nature, or was it nurture? Was it something that caused me to stutter because of my environment? I believe it could have been both. But the power of my mind to believe and the power of uh, nature and nurture to transform me. And fact is, I believe my my transformation came through nurture, my deliberate and intentional desire to work through and become better has helped me to become who I am. The thing is, at 11 years old, I didn't realize that everything I needed to become who I am today was already inside of me, despite how broken and rejected I felt at 11 years old. I had a desperate desire to accomplish my life's purpose. So, what did I do? I started learning, practicing, growing, reading a Bible to learn to enunciate big words or broken up words, reading a dictionary because of all the words being broken into syllables. And in the process, I found that the best of me was hidden inside of me, even at 11 years old. The best of you is hidden inside of you. Think about it. Our heart, it's hidden in our rib cage. It keeps us alive, but it's hidden in our rib cage. Our mind, it contains our thoughts, our desires, our decisions, our destinies. It contains dreams that we have dreamt about, and it's hidden in our mind. I found that creating Black history based on the color of our mind rather than the color of our skin is a choice. That our value in our differences, I know that our value is really in our differences, not in the things we have in common. Although we have a mind, but it's the way we think differently in our mind that really makes a difference. And in our heart, the way we love differently, the way we do things differently from a heart's point of view is what makes us valuable. So remember that as you move forward, know that whatever challenges you're facing, that you can do something about it, that you have a heart that allows you to love and have passions and dreams and do great things, and you have a mind that helps you to make decisions to do great things. My challenge, my inability to speak clearly growing up became my passion, and it prompted me to learn to speak clearly. What is your challenge? Is it misfortune? Is it illness, death, rejection? You, whatever your challenge is, write it out. Despite what your challenge is, despite what your brokenness is, know this: it does not the color of your skin does not determine the outcome of the challenge you're facing. The best of you is hidden inside of you, in your heart, in your mind, in your choices, in your dreams. Okay, I'll stop there for today, but I'd just like to remind you to think about this as we go on this week, knowing this, that you're more than who you think you are. Greatness is built into you. It's just waiting to be extracted by you. So as you refine your gifts, as you realize that your mind is your most valuable asset, and it doesn't matter the color of your skin, the color of our mind is the same, and the greatness that anyone exhibits, the greatness that anyone produces, starts in our mind. starts in our ability to grow ourselves and become more valuable. So remember that. Okay, before I leave, may I pray for you? Father, I thank you. Thank you for the greatness that you have deposited in us in the form of seeds that we need now to plant and grow and refine and bring to fruition, bring fruits out of the seeds in which you have deposited in us. Thank you for your grace and your mercy. Thank you for your love. Thank you for hope. Thank you for desire. Thank you, oh God, for the great mind in which you have given to us. Thank you for the power of our mind. Hmm. Thank you that in your wisdom you have hidden the greatest parts of us inside of us. Thank you that despite the pigmentation of our skin, the color of our mind is the same, but the power of our mind could be different in each and every one of us. Thank you for granting us grace to prune where we need to prune and grow where we need to grow, study and live with character, integrity, and an amazing attitude as we refine the gifts and talents that you have positioned in us. We thank you for helping us to be history makers even now, today. Grant us the grace, O God, to appreciate and honor the people that you've put in our lives to help us grow. Grant us the grace to help us love the unlovable and reach the unreachable. Lead us in every area of life. Lead us in love. Bless us to be a blessing and help us to accomplish the purpose in which you have created us for. And we ask all of these things in Jesus' name. Until next week, I encourage you to look in your mind, look in your heart, and see what those dreams are. See what those things that you have this passion for, what are they? Then delve into your mind and see, what do I need to do in order to accomplish the things I want to? Write them down. Remember, the Bible says, write down your dream, make it plain, so that someone else, you can run with it actually. Think about a house. Building a house, you don't just build a house without a blueprint, right? So write down your blueprint for your life, your goals, what you want to accomplish, and look and see the power that will come into your mind to help you accomplish them. Until next week, I encourage you to be blessed and be a blessing to someone else. This is Breakthrough, where I bring you tips, tools, and insights for life. And I'm your host, Sharon Joseph.